Alright guys, so once you got all your housekeeping code written in the dummy content.java file, we can actually hop over to the fragment webpage detail XML file and we can start working on the interface or the design of it. Now remember what I told you guys this app is going to do is it's going to have a list and the user is going to select from that list what web page they want to view, and in the main area right here all it's going to do is display some web page. So the easy thing about this is that we don't actually need to have any widgets on here at all, like no text areas, no buttons, no sliders or anything. The only thing we need to do is somehow display a web page in here. So how do we do that? Well, first of all, delete every single thing that's in your XML file, and since this is the only thing in here, they won't just let you right click and delete it, so you actually need to go to your source code and delete all of this. So I'm going to pause my screen recorder right now and type all of the stuff that I need to type in, and then I'll explain it, so you guys don't need to watch me type it because it's going to take a few minutes. Alright, so what I did, of course, this is just housekeeping stuff, but the widget I added is this web view right here. And actually if you go down, it's this one right here. Now what this web view is it's just an area or a widget that you can have that can display a web page. Easy enough. And also what I did is, I know you can't tell because it's not giving me those grid lines, but I set it to match parent both for the width and height, and that way it takes up the entire screen size. So whenever we display a web page in here, it's going to display on your entire screen and not just a small section of it. Now another thing that I don't want to forget is I actually want to change the ID of this to, I don't know, I'll just name it like details area. Actually, detail area, that might be better. Alright, now of course we need to do that because we need to reference it whenever we say, hey, this is the web page that you're supposed to display. So now we got all our list items created and we have our interface set up with this web view thing that can display web pages. So how do we say, okay, this is the web page that we actually want you to display? Well, for the associated Java class for this fragment right here, and that's this one, web page detail fragment, and this is the one that opened by default, so as long as you didn't close it, if you did, it's right in here. Again, this is pretty much a controller for this area or this fragment, and the first thing that we of course need to do is we need to say, okay, you need to be able to work with that web view. So if you go to web, why aren't you popping up? Web view. Why did none of that pop up? It's weird. What's going on here? Okay, suspicious, but we didn't get any errors right here, so should be good to go. Alright, so down here what you're gonna see is you're gonna find this method called onCreateView. Basically, whenever you create this fragment, this is the code that I want you to run. Now by default it's still set to that text view, and remember we deleted that text view and replaced it with a web view so we can see web pages. So delete this because we don't need it anymore, and instead pretty much change it to web view, and this is how you do that. So web view root view. Why is none of this crap popping up? It's kind of annoying me. Alright, I'll just type the hard way. Find view by ID r.id. What was the ID of that? Detail area. And of course what this is essentially going to do is it's going to reference this right here, this entire web view or this entire section. So now once we have that reference, the only other thing that we need to do is we need to call load URL, and what this is going to do is of course take this web view and display a web page depending on whatever URL we pass in, and this M item is the list item, and this is actually like 90% of this is taken care of whenever we just click master detail view in the very beginning of this tutorial. So that's why like we don't need to make M item manually or anything. It's really easy. However, like I said, this M item is going to resemble one of these objects, whatever one the user tapped. And of course, since this load URL needs a URL, we're just calling the URL property on this. So why that didn't autocomplete kind of annoyed me, and actually we don't need this text view anymore, so we can delete that. So the last thing that we need to do, one more line of code, is we need to head over to the manifest right here, and again, what this is essentially the manager for your entire app. It glues everything together. Now since we're going to be using this web view right here, what this does, again, it displays a web page and we're going to be connecting to the internet. Now anytime you do that in your manifest, you need to say, hey, I need to request permission for the internet. So I'm going to type uses. See, none of this is popping up. Uses permission Android name equals Android permission dot internet. Alright, so looking good. And if you ever go to like the Google Play Store and you're downloading apps, and right before you download it, it says this app needs like your location, access to the internet, and it says, and it pretty much asks you, is this okay? Can this app have access to like your camera and stuff? Well, this is how it gets all of those permissions right there. So pretty cool bit of information, and that's actually it. So now what we can do is run this bad boy and see if it works. Alright, so here we are. Again, this is going to look a little bit different on a tablet. This menu right here would constantly be stuck on the left hand side, but since this is a phone, we get the list on one screen and the content on another screen. So I'm just going to click Bucky and it displays my profile. Pretty sweet, my beautiful face. And of course, if we ever want to go back to the list, then just click this button again, and now you can choose something else such as videos, and it will display that video page. Pretty stinking sweet. So again, that's the very basics of how do you create a master detail flow. I know a lot of people were wondering what that thing was whenever we chose blank activity as every like project setting. So now you understand. Hopefully you guys can make some pretty sweet menus now. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and well, I'll see you guys next time.